Hey guys, so it looks like if Jaguar Wright is not going to be getting out anytime soon. She said she was told by the social worker there at the prison that she won't be let out because she's being placed on a medical hold. Before we get into the video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also the thumbs up, the like button.
How are you? I'm good considering I just got bad news, or what most people would consider bad news. What? They put a hold on me, so now I can't find out, is what they're saying. So I don't know if you guys can call the bondsman that you were talking to see if he can still come and get me, but from what they're telling me, they're putting a hold on me and they want me to send me to a psychiatric hospital because the doctor here, Dr. Kidman, declared me incompetent. So you got bailed. What do you mean? So did you get bailed, or the bail bondsman reached out to you? No, King when I talked to him yesterday, he told me what they needed, and I needed a mailing address for them to do that. And once they did that, they would be able to bond me out. Correct. So I got him the address, and I talked to him last night. Mm-hmm. But the social worker came in here today and told me that they just put a hold on me, so I can't find out a mental health hold because Dr. Kidman found me incompetent. Okay, so the bond is not fully secured yet, but it's in the process. Y'all hit up King Payne, y'all. Y'all message King Payne and tell King Payne he needs to listen to my live immediately. Y'all hit him up. He may be asleep because I know he was live really late. But okay, so with the bond being in process right now, it needs to be put on hold because they're putting you on a psychiatric hold? What I was just told is that there is a hold. I cannot find out that I either have to go to an outpatient program, which means I have to stay in Dallas to prove that I'm competent, or I have to go to the state mental hospital, which means I would have to stay here in jail until I pull chain to go to until the opening comes up, and that could take up to 2 years. So basically, the bail bondsman was reached out to the prison to let them know that you were being bailed out, and they let them know. Obviously, they let them know already. I haven't spoken to a bail bondsman. I haven't talked to a bondsman. Mm-hmm. I'm only telling you what the social worker just told me. Correct. Okay. So she said if you can find out, good luck. She said, but they just put a hold on you, so you can't go anywhere. Did they put the hold on you because you said you were bonding out? I didn't say that I was bonding out, but people need to understand that every phone call here is recorded and monitored. Mm-hmm. So even this, what we're doing right now, is monitored. Correct. So was the hold placed on you before? Because they may have placed it on you because you're not in the necessary seg, though. You're not in Gen Pop, though.
So Sean David is trying to put words in her mouth, and she keeps telling him over and over again she cannot bond out because she's on a psychiatric hold. Until further notice, she cannot be bonded out. And he keeps going around the bush. Did they say that after the bond went in? Did they say that while you had the bond okayed and the release okayed? And Jaguar said, no, I have not spoken to a bondsman. Nobody contacted me. There was no bond for me to be released. The psychiatric doctor told me I cannot be released because I have a psychiatric hold right now. They want to transfer me to a psych hospital. But he's trying to spin the narrative that they had this bond in place for her to be bonded out. They were going to pay the money. That's what he was alluding to, that they were going to pay the money. They were just about to pay the money when she got this bad news. No, honey. They got that money. They're holding on to that money. I don't believe that they were about to pay no money to bond her out. Because first of all, they had to put on an address in which she was going to be released to. And they don't have an address for her to be going to. Whose address were they going to use? Their address? Family's address? There ain't no family coming up to bat for Jaguar.
So my question. Interesting. So I mean, it is. When Genesis, understand this. Let's look at the timeline. When Genesis pulled the stunt that she pulled, pretending to be Regina Gold, having my bond revoked, using Queen 12 to find my location, they called the police to register that to report me as what? A fugitive, so that they could arrest me. The entire time I was sitting in Bossier, I was there for misdemeanor charges only.
Yes, Miss Jaguar, right. You were there for misdemeanor charges only, but you were not supposed to leave the state. Once you did not show up in court, the judge issued a warrant for your arrest. So address that. Why did you not show up in court? You can't say you were moving because obviously Sam and your mother could have manned the fort. They could have been there dictating where the stuff should go, where the movers should put the stuff. They're quite capable of telling the movers where to put the stuff on the sidewalk. You just wanted to stay there and act a fool and skip your court date. So why don't you address that part of why did you skip your court date? Even if Legina and Genesis pulled the warrant, that does not mean that you should not have showed up in court. And you can't say, oh, I didn't show up because I was moving. That's not, and that's no excuse not to show up in court. I'm sorry. You should have showed up. And even if you didn't know they had pulled the warrant, when you showed up in court, you would have found out. They would have told you the warrant was pulled. But you neglected. You're very neglectful, Miss Jaguar, right? You did not show up because you didn't want to. You can't do any old thing in terms of the law and think that you're going to get off scot-free. So quit blaming Legina Gold and Genesis. Take accountability and be responsible for your actions of not showing up in court.
Now, the officer that came and picked me up for extradition told me that I was already at time served, and he said, don't worry about bonding out. He said, because when you go to court on Friday, they're going to have to let you go because you're already at time served. He said, so if I were you, I would just chill.
I don't care what the officer told her, the cops told her. It all depends on the judge, what the judge determined. And she's finding out what the judge determined and what the officer said is two completely different things.
So, because I just want to make sure I'm understanding this right. So, are they, because you're saying the release, so... Hold on. My question is, if you bond out, you said that they will be sending you to a psychiatric ward, or they're just already sending you to a hospital? As it stands right now, what I was just told by the social worker, Lawan, African-American woman, who works for my mental health public defender, whose name is Mr. Harden, something like that. I haven't met him yet. She's supposed to be sending him to come see me. She came to see me first. She told me that they just put a hold on me so that I can't bond out because I have been declared incompetent by Dr. Pitt. Okay. And Dr. Pittman is the psychiatrist that works here at the jail. By the way, he says that everyone is incompetent. So he went over your head and stated that you are declared incompetent, so you cannot bail out. Yeah, that I'm not fit to leave here, which is very interesting because, you know, Parkland is the hospital that sponsors here, the jail, the medical here in the jail. Okay? Our jail here is Parkland. Now, I was just released from Parkland Psych March 17th with a clean bill of health, and my diagnosis was PTSD and bipolar, which I was diagnosed with PTSD back in 1997, which I've said all along. And I was found competent when I left Parkland Hospital. And now all of a sudden, I get booked into this jail, and a doctor that works for the same system, who took no blood work, no medical round, no nothing, no medical test, no nothing on me. The only thing they've done here is take my blood pressure, take my temperature. There's nothing.
what Jaguar is not realizing, the test is what is coming out of her mouth. That is the test. If you're talking to the doctors, even to say, have a good day, hello, but you're yelling and screaming and telling them go unalive themselves and F the guards and all that, that is the test, honey. It's what's coming out of your mouth. That is the test. They don't have to sit you down and tell you, okay, we're running a test on you today. Oh, no, it don't run like that, because then you can fudge the truth and you're going to be a good girl and answer the questions exactly how they want to answer it. But it's what's being reported and recorded when you are among your fellow inmates. They're looking at all that behavior of you yelling and screaming and wanting to unalive people and all the temper tantrums that you are or were exhibiting. If you do the same thing in the prison system, of course they're going to say you're incompetent and you need to go into a mental hospital. I can imagine how Jaguar was cutting up, because she said she was transferred 5 times. You don't get transferred 5 times from cell to cell and there's nothing at all wrong. You get transferred when you're acting a fool. Okay, and you want to fight, and people want to fight you and unalive you, and you want to unalive them, and there's a big commotion. So all that they're looking at. She probably cussed the doctors out, cussed the guards out, cussed the warden out, cussed everybody out. So all that behavior is not going undetected. Everything is being recorded, monitored, written down, and evaluated. That is the test, Ms. Jaguar Wright.
He sits down and talks with me for 5 minutes.
She just said that nobody spoke to her. She wasn't evaluated. She wasn't tested. But yet, the psych doctor sat down and talked to her for 5 minutes. If the psych doctor is talking to you for 5 minutes, don't you think that that's an evaluation? This person is taking 5 minutes out of their day to talk to you. Even if they said hi and bye, but they're talking to you for 5 minutes. It's an evaluation that's going on.
No nothing. No medical test, no nothing on me. The only thing they've done here is take my blood pressure, take my temperature. There's nothing. He sits down and talks with me for 5 minutes. I answer every question that he gave me correctly. And he says, now, I'm incompetent. Change my medicine from what Dr. Delgado prescribed me all of this other stuff. I took it for I took it for 2 days, and within 2 days, my face blew up, I had sores all over my mouth. I was poisoned. And I stopped taking it. I wrote pics up about it, and I told the nurses.
Well, I know, but so at the same time, you know that you have to take your medication in order to be declared competent.
You don't understand. My mouth was bleeding. My face had blown up. I had rashes all over my body. If I had kept taking that medicine, God knows what would have happened.
So Jaguar said her mouth was bleeding, her face had blown up, she had rashes all over her body. I don't believe that for a second. She had some side effects, but not rashes all over her body. Okay? So Jaguar is fudging the truth. I'm sure of it. She's trying to now paint this picture that she had to stop taking the medication. But guess what? You don't take your medication in jail. And you're not going out. They're not letting you out. They're going to send you straight to a psych hospital because they see that you're non-compliant with the medication regimen. So Sean Davy told her the right thing. If you don't take your medications, you're not getting out.
You don't understand. My mouth was bleeding. My face had blown up. I had rashes all over my body. If I had kept taking that medicine, God knows what would have happened to me.
Why is this the first I'm hearing of this?
That makes my mouth bleed. And I reported it to the nurses and asked to see the doctor, and I dropped kites.
So Sean Davy just called her out. He said, why is this the first time I'm hearing about this? Because it never happened. That's why. Maybe she had some side effects like bleeding gums and sore gums. But rashes all over her body, don't buy it for a minute. And the fact that she never mentioned it to Sean Davy tell me that she is lying.
And I reported it to the nurses and asked to see the doctor, and I dropped kites.
So that's why you didn't take your medication?
Oh. The second that I started taking it, literally, within 2 days, My face had started swelling up. My gums were bleeding. I had sores on my mouth, in my mouth, on my tongue, and I had rashes showing up all over my legs.
Why you ain't tell me none of this before?
Huh?
Why didn't you tell me any of this before? I could have been complaining and stuff.
Well, the reason why I didn't say anything before was because I wasn't sure whether or not it was accident or intentional, and I didn't want to come off as sounding like some kind of raving mad lunatic, like, oh my God, they're trying to kill me in jail, and then people start making fun about Rock Nation and this, that, and the third, and so on and so forth.
So Jaguar said she didn't mention it because she didn't want to come off looking like a lunatic. I said, honey, it's too late. You already look like a lunatic when you perform at the airport, calling the cops, the mayor's office, and all that stuff. You already going down in history as a bona fide lunatic, okay?
I just wanted to deal with it here and bond out, and then talk about it once I got out. Because the truth is, everything that I say here is being monitored. Like me, using the payphone. Every time I talk to you, anytime we go live online, the next thing you know, the next day, I can't make no calls.
Of course, all your calls are being monitored. You're in jail, Jaguar. You think you're going to get a nice little personal cell phone to talk privately? No, you don't go like that. And you know that. You've been to jail before. That's why I said in the past, when you were rushing to get your mama to pay your phone bill, what's the hurry? Because you can't use it anyway.
Okay, so here's my question. So when they placed you in the part of the jail that you are in, which is more so of a psych ward division of the jail, didn't they state then that you have to declare yourself certain things to be declared competent to be able to come out of there to get back into Gym Pop?
Oh, absolutely no. I'm not in the psych ward. I haven't been in the psych ward in over a week. I'm back in Gym Pop. They literally have schizophrenia.
So here we hear Jaguar saying she's been out of the psych ward for over a week. So she was in there not too long ago, for about a week. A week ago, she was in the psych ward in jail, in that section of the jail, the psych section. So she must have been acting a fool to end up there.
Oh, Gym Pop. Oh, through Gym Pop. I haven't been over there in the crazy ward in 10 days.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Gym Pop with a bunch of schizos. And everyone here, whether they have PSYC, whether they're sane or not, there's a woman that I was just telling you about the other night. This woman has been sitting here for 2 years. She's finally waiting the full change. She was about to leave. She was actually raped by police here in Dallas. She had footage of it on a USB. She reported it to Texas Rangers the whole 9 yards, and they had her sitting here in jail for 2 years. Now she has to go to the psych hospital, do her evaluation there, and turn around, and then they're going to dismiss the case.
Well, if Jaguar is not careful, she's going to be staying in that jail for 2 years, because it takes a while to go to the psych hospital. You just don't get transferred like that. It takes a while for that transfer.
The psych hospital, do her evaluation there, and turn around, and then they're going to dismiss the case to make it go away.
Okay, so since you can't get bailed out now, are they just waiting for court?
If I can't get bailed out, then it needs to be done. Listen to me. I don't know. I'm not talking to the bill bondsman. Kingpin, you have all of that information. I gave him everything.
But here's the thing: if they have a hold, if they have a hold, we can't go. Like a bail bondsman can't overthrow a doctor.
I know that. So I'm just saying, double check and see. But if that hold is real, then as it stands right now, I'm stuck here. I'm stuck.
Yes, you are stuck there until you get that transfer to the mental hospital. I'm afraid Jaguar has dug herself into a hole that she cannot get out of right now. But that's what you get for acting a fool. All right? She thinks she's going to go in that prison and act a fool like she did out here. Well, these are the consequences.
Because of this guy, this Pittman guy. And from what I heard, his medical record, his license is spotty. I just find it interesting that a jail doctor would override my real doctor, Dr. Delgado, over at Parkland, who sponsors this prison jail.
What Jaguar does not realize, once she gets put in jail, the doctor in jail takes precedence over her previous doctor. It's the current situation that dictates what's going to happen to her, and the current doctor is evaluating her, not the doctor back in Dallas. It's the current doctor who's doing the evaluation in order to determine where she's going to be, whether she's going to get transferred to a mental institution or stay in jail or be let out. It's that current doctor is making that determination, not the doctor back in Dallas. The doctor currently is taking precedence. That's the way it goes.
Like, he didn't even bother to go in the system and check and see what my actual doctor had said.
He didn't have to do that because he was doing an evaluation based on the present, the now, the here and now, not the past, what the past doctor said. Because maybe you were good in the past, but maybe you're acting a fool now. So how can they evaluate it based on the past? It got to be based on the now, the here and the now.
Which means he's being paid to make everyone competent. See, what people really don't understand about the way jail works is that they collect $100 a day for every inmate here. Whether you're guilty or not. As long as you're an inmate, as long as you have a number, you get $100 a day. I sat down with the girls and I did the math the other day. 25 girls in a tank, $2,500 a day. How much is that a week?
Never mind about calculating monetarily, Miss Jaguar, right? You worry about getting out of jail and making yourself look sane in order to get out. Because as long as you're acting like if you're crazy or insane, you're not getting out.
2 days is $5,000. 6 days is $15,000. We're talking about $1,750 a week.
Yeah.
The math.
So you have court Friday, correct?
5,000. Huh?
They switched their court till Friday?
They moved my court to when?
You have court this Friday?
I was told that it was the 12th.
No, I was asking. You said Friday, so I don't know if you're talking about this Friday or the 12th Friday.
No, the 12th. Mm-hmm. The 12th is my next hearing. And as long as that hold is on there, I'm here until then. But from what the bail bondsman told King Payne, they're talking about dismissing my case on the 12th.
If they're dismissing your case, it's because they're declaring you incompetent, and that's probably why they want to send you to Parkwood.
Isn't it sad, though, guys, that Jaguar professed to be this smart individual, and every little thing got to be broken down to her by Kingpin or Sean Davey. The comprehension is not there.
No, they're not going to send me to Parkland. I'm either going to have to do an outpatient program, which means I can't go to Louise as I was planned. That means I have to stay here in Dallas to do an outpatient, or I have to go to the state medical hospital, the state hospital, the mental hospital. And if I have to do that, then I have to stay here in jail until a place opens up. Like I just told you, the woman is a couple cells down from here.
So then they have, that's what I'm saying. So the hold that they have you on, so basically you're going to the hospital no matter what.
Yeah, which is funny because I've been to the hospital twice this year. Is it not starting to register that people are trying to make me look incompetent because they don't want all of the true things that I say about what happens in this world to be true? Have we gotten to that point yet that we're willing to accept the fact that a public figure and a celebrity is being railroaded?
Here again, Jaguar is blaming the system. Now it's their fault. They're railroading her for telling the truth about these celebrities. Miss Jaguar, right? You need to get your act together. Your mouth is getting you in trouble, honey. You need to stop these delusions. Take your meds. I'm surprised they did not classify her as paranoid schizophrenic.
They can't give us the definition of character. So instead, they're going to do whatever they have to do to make me look crazy.
That, or they're just following protocol.
Thank you, Sean Davey. At least you are trying to bring her into reality and not go along with her delusions. Well, Jaguar is still talking the same. She haven't gotten any help as yet because she's not taking her medication. as admitted by her, she stopped taking it, and she told the nurses because she's having bad side effects. So she's still in a paranoid state. And as long as she's like that, she's not getting out. Not anytime soon.
No, they're not following protocol. This is what they do to everyone here.
Okay.
Like I told you, there's a woman 2 cells down who was raped by police officers. She went to everyone, including the Attorney General, and they did not respond. Instead, she was arrested, brought here, and they refused to acknowledge the evidence. I think they arrested her. The initial was for porn, for some kind of sex trafficking porn. They tried to put it on her, but she was actually the victim in the video. Mm-hmm. So now that they know that she's the victim in the video, instead they declared her incompetent, and now she has to go to the hospital. And when she goes to the hospital, then they'll dismiss the case, and then it all goes away, and no one has to ever acknowledge the fact that she was raped by police officers.
Wow.
Or in my case, no one has to acknowledge the fact that I've been reporting a barbershop that's selling harmful drugs to a black community, to a police station that's protecting them, and then went and reported it to the mayor that the police station wasn't doing their job, and then was arrested again, and then they took me through the whole psychiatric thing, try to force people to, or force me to admit that I'm incompetent so that they'll let me go, just so I can get out. And then they get to dismiss it and pretend like none of it ever happened. But leave me with the stigma of being mentally ill so that my word is discredited on everything that I said.
I'm surprised she's not blaming Goomba for everything. But I guess Goomba got to maybe thank God that she is able to focus on other things and other people besides him.
Isn't that all very convenient? No one can sue me for defamation of character for the things that I say because I'm telling the truth. So, since no one wants to believe the truth, make her crazy, and then we'll make it go away, and then no one will believe her anyway because we made her look crazy successfully.
Well, that's how mental illness works. The person really believes they're telling the truth, and you can't convince them otherwise.
So do you think, like with the things that you're saying right now, when you speak to the doctors and whatnot, that you think this helps them, make them feel that you are competent?
Well, when I sit down and take a competency test, and he asked me about the president, and he asked me to remember 3 things to check my long and my short-term memory, and I answer everything correctly, and he asked me about my upbringing, he asked me...
I thought in the beginning of the video she said nobody gave her a test. Now she's saying when she sat down with the doctor and he gave her a competency test. See, this is how Jaguar does not remember which lie she have told.
Well, when I sit down and take a competency test, and he asked me about the president, and he asked me to remember 3 things to check my long and my short-term memory, and I answer everything correctly, and he asked me about my upbringing, he asked me about my background, and he asked me what I do for a living, and I told him I'm a content creator, and I all of these facts are in my Wikipedia, and you can Google them and verify all of them, and I haven't made anything up. I mean, if I do all of that, and I'm still declared incompetent for telling the truth? Because that's what happened. We didn't discuss DeSoto in my competency hearing. We didn't discuss my arrest. We didn't discuss any of that. Mm-hmm. We didn't even discuss any of my commentary.
Jaguar thinks that she can spin the narrative and she can tell the psych doctor what she wants to discuss. But it doesn't go like that. Now, why would a psychiatrist want to discuss her commissary?
And I talked to over 40 inmates, and they all said the same thing. Dr. Pittman declares everyone incompetent, whether you do it right or you do it wrong. Doesn't matter. Everyone here is incompetent. Every inmate, especially a female, every female inmate has been declared incompetent.
Obviously, that's not true. Not every inmate who is female in that prison have been declared incompetent, because then, if that was the case, they all would be in the psych ward division. There would be an overpouring of psych patients and nobody in the regular units. So Jaguar is fibbing again. She is telling tall tales.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, they get to continue to collect $100 a day for every head and for every day. Which, by the way, that number adds up to about $8.5 million a year. That's for one tank. And we're talking here in this jail, they have 20 tanks collecting that amount of money.
Jaguar always seems to be focused on the wrong thing. Instead of healing herself, her mental, her psyche, her brain, her mind, taking medication so you can be on the road to healing. And if those medications have side effects, there are other medications that the doctor can give her. Instead of her saying she's not taking them at all, there are other medications to be substituted. There are plenty on the market. You don't have to take that particular one. All she got to do is tell the doctor, I have bad side effects, and the doctor will recommend something else. But to say you're not taking it, and she has stopped taking it, and she's not taking anymore, that's not a good way to react. And I'm sure she didn't say that nicely. She probably got to cussing about those effing medications and what they're doing to her, and cussing the doctor out that he wants to unalive her. I can just hear it now. So all those things play into the evaluation also, that she's not making sound decisions and thinking rationally.
And 14 of them stay full. Do the math. At $8.5 million a pop.
King Payne said that they saying that they're not wanting to do bond because people keep calling.
People keep calling who?
I guess, I don't know if it's the bail bondsman, or they said people keep calling.
The bail bondsman said he doesn't want to bond me out because people keep calling.
Yeah, I don't know if they're calling in like...
Who keeps calling?
I don't know, maybe people are calling saying that you shouldn't get bailed out, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but who is doing that? And more importantly, why is the bail bondsman...
Burnt Gap.
Who aren't posting bonds. You have 1 minute left.
Yeah.
You have 1 minute left. Question, should I call back?
Yes. Can you call like right back?
As soon as it shuts down, I'm gonna call right back.
Yeah, call us right back if you can. Yeah, because we're trying to make sense of this.
I want everyone to see how the system railroads people in this day and age. This is an outrage. And the African American community, the LGBTQ community, everybody, all communities that I'm a part of, should be outraged.
King Payne said they just have to find another bail. That we just have to find another bail company.
Good luck with that. I don't know if any bondsman that's going to want to touch Jaguar, knowing that she's a flight risk. So then Jaguar's call ended, and Sean DeVive decided to call King Payne to get a better explanation, clarity on what's going on in the situation, because Jaguar was talking all over the board, and a lot of what she says, you got to take it with a grain of salt, because you don't know if it's fantasy or reality. So now he's calling King Payne to get a better understanding of the situation. Let's take a listen.
Friend, what is going on, friend?
Friend, so I just called the bond company, and really what it is, first of all, let me be very clear. The reason everybody knows Jaguar's bond company is because Tokyo told me put out that information.
Correct.
Because I didn't put out the bond company until, I wanted to wait because I knew what people were doing. Mm-hmm. So the company that we put the information out for, what is it called? First call bail bonds. Mm-hmm. They no longer want to cover Jaguar. Okay, because people keep calling in. That's it. That's all. There is no hold on Jaguar's bond. There is no hold on. You can call any other bond company, and they will tell you there is no hold. Okay. If you call Bail Bonds Company, the one that we gave up to.
I'm gonna drop the link for you. She's calling back. I'm gonna drop the link for you.
Okay.
But it all depends on what the psychiatrist recommends. And right now, it looks like if Jaguar was told by the social worker that the psych doctor says that she's incompetent. So I'm wondering why the social worker told her that and the psychiatrist didn't tell her that. The psychiatrist is supposed to tell her that she's incompetent to stand trial and she's going to be going to a hospital, a psych hospital. So it doesn't matter what that bail bondsman says. If they determine that she's not to be bonded out and go straight to the psych hospital, then that's how it's going to be. And from what I'm gathering, there's a long wait before she gets transferred to a psych hospital. She may have to spend 2 years in jail waiting. So now, Sean Davey is talking to Jaguar Wright to inform her what Kingpin said, that there's no hold on the bond.
Hi. So I was talking to Kingpin, and Kingpin said that there is we just need to find a new bonds company. But what did your social worker come in and tell you again? Because I mean, if they're coming to tell you something, then I don't know if somebody reached out to, if a bail bondsman reached out to the jail to let them know.
A social worker, an African American female, about 5'5", because she was wearing 3-inch. She was about 5'5". She had a really, really, really tight, low, of a hairline that came all the way back. It was wig cap back. But her name is LaWan. She gave me no last name. She told me that my lawyer's name is Attorney Harmon, something Harmon, I can't remember now. But he's handling the felony charge for the retaliation. But anyway, she told me that they were putting a hold, that they had put a hold on me, that I cannot bond out, that I have to go through the state mental process, whatever the case may be, because I was declared incompetent by Dr. Pitt, who was the court psychiatric doctor. Now, I want to put into perspective who this guy is. He looks like Woody Allen. He's about 70-some-odd years old. He's probably senile himself. And I can literally go through this entire tank, and every woman that has been evaluated by him has been declared incompetent. Everybody.
Okay, so what I'm trying to figure out is, did the jail or did the social worker come and let you know that because the bail bondsman reached out to the jail? Because they have to reach out to the jail to let them know that there's a bond for you and that they're going to be the ones that are doing it. So if they reached out to them,
no idea. I do not know. I told her that by the way, I gave her your phone number and I gave her King Payne's phone number, and I let her know that one of you is my manager, the other one of you is my public relations.
So the fact that she gave out these two guys' number as the people who are going to be helping her tells me she have no family or friends to help her, really. No lifelong friends anyway, because these internet friends are just that, internet friends. They're in it for the cash, period.
Representative, that I am a public figure, I am a celebrity, and I told her my professional name, and I told her you need to see this. I'm not a king.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a king. You're actually playing with a real individual. Hey, yes, I did. I'm sorry, I just come here for a second. Come here, close the door a little bit. I want to introduce you to Tanya. Tanya, they just put a psychiatric hold on me. That's what the social worker came and said that I have to either do the program or go to the state hospital because Dr. Pitt declared me incompetent. And my people are actively trying to find me out. There's a bunch of other stuff. So she's not sharing just a little bit of their story. Okay, hold on a second. I want to introduce you to Tanya. What about that story, though? Just what I'm here in a relationship with Dr. Pitt. Okay, whatever details you'd like to share. Hello.
Hi.
So Jaguar now now puts on Tanya, another inmate, to explain to Sean David Way how everybody is classified as incompetent. So Tanya's going to get on. But these are all folks with mental issues. You know they're going to say that a doctor is classifying everybody as incompetent. So let's hear what Tanya have to say.
Hi, yes. So I'm a victim of sex trafficking where prosecute some sex traffickers that the cops were involved with, and I had evidence of it on a USB, and I had complications in prosecuting because they were too busy trying to cover it up, and I reached out to some anti-sex trafficking organization, and they decided to throw me in jail for promotion of child pornography. Okay. So I'm here in jail to force the system to pick up USB, which I am a victim of sex. So while in the midst of that, I had to go through the psychology testing as well with Dr. Pittman, and Dr. Pittman asked me some basic questions. Remember these 3 things, and what's the difference between a demon and a wheelbarrow? Simple stuff. And I passed it. Well, I felt I passed it, and he declared me incompetent. So I went to another doctor where the doctor stated in his report that I passed the testing part, but somehow I developed a psychosis. They are forcing me to go to a state hospital so they can sweep everything under the rug so it doesn't go to trial, so that the USB does not get brought up, so that they can release me on a dismissal.
Okay, so now Jaguar is going to come back on the line, and I don't know the purpose of her letting that young woman come on and tell her story. I guess she just wanted to prove a point that other people think that the psych doctor is diagnosing or overdiagnosing everybody as being incompetent.
I'm out of here, and as soon as Tanya is released from the state hospital, I'm going to be bringing her on to the Keep It Being podcast and Dallas of the TV network and open her the entire team. It's ridiculous. Thank you, Tanya.
Oh my God. So yeah, Jack King's here, and he has a couple questions. Sound off, King.
Jaguar. So I just got off the phone with the bonds company, and they're telling me that they don't see any hold. Is this something that's going to pop
Jack,
up
can you hear King?
Now.
Okay, go ahead.
I said, is that something that's going to pop up later? Because I just got off the phone with the bonds company, and they said that they don't see any hold. What it is that people keep calling them, and they don't want to cover the bond anymore because people keep calling in to the bond company and complaining.
Complaining about what?
I guess they're saying you're flight risk. They're telling them you're homeless. They're telling them anything. But there is no hold. They said that you can't be bonded out. They just won't be the ones to do it. But, that's not a big problem. There's 100 bondsmen, bail bond companies in Texas alone. So, I'm sure that we'll be able to find somebody. Unfortunately, your friend Tokyo had put out the information to the bonds company, and people started calling.
Pretending to be supporters that are actively working against this situation to keep me in jail.
How did that information get out, King Payne, of where she's at?
Tony had put the number out to the bonds company. So that's how people know what company we were going through to bond you out.
So Shalana Hunter publicized what bail bond company you were going with?
Mm. That's your friend.
That's fight too much? Well, she done went all the way to the dark side. She's Darth Vader now.
I don't think she fully understood how these people are on YouTube and how much they dislike you and how far they're willing to go to keep you in jail. Because I literally just got off the phone with the bonds company and said there's not a hold. It's because people literally keep calling and keep calling and keep calling and keep calling, saying that you're homeless.
Yeah, because I'm in jail, because I didn't get a chance to move into my house, because I didn't get a chance to go to work and do my interview. because I didn't get a chance, because I was stopped, because I was being stalked by King Squirrel and by everyone else online, because I was being hounded by Genesis day after day to come and sit on her white couch, and I said, fuck no. I just find this interesting. It looks like now all of the enemies of all of the haters of the people who wish they were us have decided to join forces to take Jaguar down. Isn't that interesting? Whereas Dr. Omar would say, you know, the clip that Night and Day always like using it, but that was that council session.
And I told them about Jaguar going to a boarding home too, or whatever, and they were just like, "No, we just don't." They said, "We just don't want to cover the bond. It's not the address. We figured the address situation out. Jaguar is going to a boarding home when she gets out." Okay, it's because people keep calling. Okay, there is a risk associated to covering Jack's bail for the bond company. Also, they don't want to take that risk because we have literally dozens, if not hundreds, of people calling in saying the Jaguar is homeless, she's a flight risk, don't bail her out. You know, they have an option. It's their prerogative.
So now Jaguar will be going to a boarding home when she gets out. Do they have a particular boarding home in mind? Do they have the address to this boarding home? Because it's one thing saying she will be going to a boarding home, but if you don't have an address to this particular boarding home, then they're back to square one with no address to offer up. First, they gotta talk to the boarding home people in charge and see if she can even enter coming straight from the prison system into that boarding home, and then relaying that information to the bondsman and then see what they say about that. I mean, they got to do their due diligence. So far, I don't hear them saying anything about they've secured a boarding home for her. They're just saying that's where she's going to be going. But have you secured a boarding home residence for her? YouTubers, drop your comments in the comment section. What do you think about Jaguar being on this mental hold, this medical hold, that she can't be released? Do you all think it's subject to change? According to these two guys, there's no bond hold. Is that true, or is it a false narrative? So again, that's for Sean Davey, Kingpin, as well as Jaguar Wright, telling what's going on with her currently. I'm over and now. Drop your comments. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.